My oven blew up. You seriously can't make this kind of thing up. I can't believe it. Hey there, I am Tabitha Filand, your hostess for Carline Conversations, where I like to share encouraging stories or just maybe crazy stories that, that will entertain you while you and I are sitting in the car line. I'm currently here waiting to pick up my youngest, and then I gotta swing over and get my two middles. And I've got to tell you what happened. So every morning, I cook breakfast. I do cook a hot breakfast. And I also try to cook some type of protein or entree that will be hot for my kiddos to put in their lunch boxes. They put all the other stuff in, but I do that. And this morning, I had my gas oven preheating, and I had two burners going. So I was preheating the oven, about to put nuggets, chicken nuggets, in the oven, and I had sausage going in one skillet, and I was frying eggs in another skillet because they like to make these breakfast sandwiches on toast. Anyway, and I was going to make the toast in the air fryer. So the way my kitchen is set up, my stove is here and the air fryer's on the counter right here. So I'm literally standing right next to the oven, and I'm listening. My cats are in the game room over the kitchen, and they're running back and forth. And sometimes my husband goes up there in the game room. We have this routine where, I get up first, go to the restroom, go get my coffee, sit down in the living room, read my the verse for the day, the chapter for the day, and and he after I leave the restroom, he goes in, he comes, fixes his coffee, he sits on the couch across from me, and we just kind of stare at each other because we're not willing to talk yet. Anyway, well, sometimes he will, when I stand up to go fix breakfast, he'll go upstairs, because our, what we call the game room, over half of it is actually his music studio. Oh, I gotta pull up. So half of it is his music studio, and sometimes he'll, when he's still tired and he's not willing to watch me work while he sits. Sorry, I have my seatbelt off, but I promise we're driving like 100 yards and then we're stopping again. But so he goes upstairs to the game room and he kind of finishes his coffee. So in my head, what transpires next, I'm thinking my husband's upstairs. Well, I hear, the cats running back and forth, and then I hear this ginormous boom. And in my head, I'm like, did he throw something at my cats? Did he throw something at my fur babies? Did he fall out of his chair? Did, what happened? And simultaneously, because this all happened so fast, I realize, I see the oven open, the oven door opens, and then it slams shut. But I was in shock and I couldn't process what was happening. And I turned around. We have a bar that kind of wraps around the kitchen, and part of it, there's a wall with a window in it. And my son, my youngest son, is standing in the living room and he's looking at me, and I'm like, what was that? Like, seriously, what was that? And he said, well, Mom, you slammed the pantry door. And I'm like, no, the pantry's still wide open. I did not slam the pantry door. And as I turn back around, I realize the burners on the stovetop have both gone out. And that's where it like kicked in. This was my oven, and this was an explosion inside my oven. So I very quickly, turn off the oven, turn off the burners, because they were still in the on position, turn those off. But I'm still kind of like freaked out because you're not expecting that to happen when you're barely caffeinated in the morning. So I asked him, I'm like, where's your dad? Where's your dad? I thought he was upstairs. Where is he? And he's like, no, I think he's getting dressed in the bathroom. And so he goes, our youngest son goes to our bathroom and says, hey, Dad, the stove sneezed. So my husband comes out bewildered, like really confused. They're thinking, oh, no big deal. The stove sneezed. And I'm like, no, this was not normal. What happened was not supposed to happen. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I do? And so I say, I'm going to call my mama. And I do. I called my mom. And she turns, I tell her, I start the conversation by saying, everything is fine. We are all fine. There's no damage. But the oven blew up. And she, of course, is, what do you mean the oven blew up? And she turns to my dad and I said, I just don't know what to do. So she asked my dad, what did she do? And I was like, do I call 911? Yeah, and he said, no, call the gas company because, no, wait. I said that backwards. I'm just still in shock that this happened. I said, do I call the gas company? I asked him, do I call the gas company? And he says, no, you call 911. You call the fire department because the fire department won't charge you to turn off the gas and the gas company will. That's where my dad's so frugal and thrifty. That's where I get it from, I think. So I'm like, that's a good idea. So I called the non-emergency number because I'm like, you know what? We smell gas still, but I figured it was residual and it just, nobody's hurt. We didn't need an ambulance. So I called the non-emergency number, which I have saved in my phone. And I'm telling the dispatcher what happened. And she's like, okay, well, let me transfer you to fire rescue. And she does. And so I recount the story and the lady's like, well, are you still in the house? Yeah, we're still in the house. I still have 2 kids sleeping upstairs. She's like, get out of the house. Get everyone out of the house and then let me know when everyone is out of the house. And that's when I kind of like, I think I gave myself this mental shake of, you idiot, you got a gas leak in your kitchen. And I'm like, oh, sure, let me turn off the air fryer. And she's like, don't turn off anything. Don't turn on anything. Get out of the house. So my husband goes running up the stairs to get our college kids up. And I got to give kudos to my oldest son, the one that we adopted. And because at first he tells me later, he's like, I thought you were needing me to move my car. And then Pa said, there's a gas leak. And all I see from my perspective is, because I'm standing in the foyer screaming, let's get out of the house, and he comes out his bedroom door and just a bolt of lightning across the bridge, down the stairs, out the front door. He wins. He passed the fire drill with flying colors. He did. So it's the coldest day of the year. Like I have the heat on in my van right now. It's so cold. And we're in our pajamas. Well, half the kids are dressed for school already because they get dressed before they eat breakfast. And I'm still in my robe. And my college daughter's in her pajamas. Thank God they were flannel. And our college son is still in his pajamas, but he did think to grab shoes. We're just all standing out there, just. And here comes the fire department. Sirens blazing. The paramedics pull up first. I'm like, I said we didn't need paramedics. And he's like, no. I could get here first. So tell me what's happening. And so I told him, I was like, this is what's going on. And so he heads inside with his partner. And or he's about to head in, and the fire truck comes up, and so he's telling them what I just said, and they all head inside my house. And I'm thinking, this is bizarre, because I've seen in the news pictures of homes that have blown up from gas leaks. That's scary. It's like nothing's left but toothpicks. Well, thank goodness they come out, and they said they had turned off the gas and they gave it a check, and we were okay. We were okay. So my kiddos were like, do we have to go to school today? Wait, correction. My youngest son says, yes, we have to go to school today because this is a story that we have to tell. And of course, everybody in the school now knows that our oven blew up. But we're alive. And I'm very thankful that we have lived to tell this crazy story. You know what's really weird is the day before, yesterday, I'm sitting at the dining room table and I'm thinking, man, I wonder why I keep getting headaches every afternoon whenever I'm in the kitchen working. I guess it's standing on my feet. Or maybe it was a gas leak in the oven. That's nuts. That's nuts. Anyway, hopefully between now and tomorrow when I see you, I'll have a boring day and we'll get back to normal. But for now, check and make sure your gas oven's okay. And I'll see you tomorrow in Carline.